GGC Mafia. Stand up. I see you alphas in the building. For a second, can you alphas please give an alpha what's up? It's your boy Alphas LMA, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy, and it's Thursday. I'm hanging with the squad. It's just a fan. Right above me, we have the one, the only. Man, he's fresh off a nap, showing y'all all kind of skin, I guess. I don't know what that meant. But
no, he fixed himself.
Yes, he is situated now. It is Uniqo Williams. How you doing?
What's good, man? It's your boy Strictly Bigly Dickly, and we out here.
So I don't think you. So how you doing today?
You already know. Wow. You're welcome, never scumbag. I guess Joe's giving you guys your daily dose of dirtbag though. So I mean, it is what it is. I'm here though.
You know, I regret that skin remark a minute ago. I totally regret that skin
remark. I can tell.
I regret that skin remark 100%.
Because Joe following it with that was wild.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm talking about his knees up in the camera and all that. Monterey, how you doing?
Oh, shit.
I'm still befuddled because young Joe over there is like he's posing for some new swim trunks on a magazine, and I don't know how to take it right now.
Talking about he's Strictly Dickly, got his knees up and shit.
No,
What's
Strictly Bigly Dickly.
Yeah, boy, his nickname is now Young Tito. His new name is Young Tito.
He ain't jacking.
I told people don't take.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're not Speedo shaming anybody because I be rocking the Speedo.
Joe, you do realize, I gotta say that, Joe, you do realize girls say that, right? I do want you.
There was a super viral video of a little girl that was being raised as a boy from birth because her mom chose her sexuality. So that's going around the internet. So,
okay, I'm waiting for the tie-in.
Joe, I'm talking about when the girl asks who's a girl gay, they be like, I'm Strictly Dickly. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You can try and tell me whatever you want.
I feel you. All right. We're going with SPD, I guess. Along GGC Mafia, hope everybody doing a good day. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. I hope y'all week been great. It's almost the end of the week. I hope everything's going good. We got some topics today. We got some valuable topics today. And first off, we have Erza Miller. We have Charleston White. An apology tour is going all around. Everybody giving apologies. Why? Because they are in trouble. And the trouble is not good. In terms of Erza Miller, they said they're going to cancel the Flash movie if he doesn't do a public apology. That came out late last week. And then on Monday, we get an apology from Erza Miller late Monday. And he went to a facility. That way, Warner Brothers can now go ahead with their Flash movie as they wanted to. And Charleston White said something on Nipsey Hussle while he was in LA, and he said a Crip came up to him and explained to him, and he gave a sincere apology, which I was 100% expecting an apology that wasn't even going to be like psych and all that stuff. No, it was a straight up apology, and he ain't said nothing else on it, even though he had just put a man in jail for saying he can't come to Atlanta.
Hold on, let me get on Erza Miller first real quick, if you don't mind. Hold on.
Joe.
You can't just do a whole bunch of crazy shit and well out and be like, oh, I'm just now really realizing that there's something might be wrong with me. Bruh, you can't talk shit in Hawaii and just be on this world trip with unlimited funds because you can't do and berate people in bars. You can't break into people's houses and take their alcohol and just get away with it. But that's what you decided to do. You are not the Flash. You are Dr. Zoom at this point. And all I'm trying to say is this is like, please let me make a movie that a whole universe hinges on, because that's the only way you could do the shit that this dude did. And then not only did he do that, he also went on Twitter and was talking like Venom with a whole bunch of we's and days, like he has a symbiote. So
Big leagues.
you can't just do shit like that and be like, oh, I think I have mental health issue. We know, nigga. We know. Regular people don't just do that shit unless you have some kind of weird ass dissociative identity issue going on, which might be one of the many mental issues you have, bro. You are lucky.
Not to mention alleged child grooming accusations.
They're gonna give them another chance because Warner Brothers and all of them need this, and so they need this movie, and they need him to have a great comeback story like the boy that Robert Downey Jr. They need him to have a comeback story, and then he's just going to be the face of the franchise, get away with everything, and all will be well. Ezra Miller.
No, but RDJ made a real change, though. Do you remember how wild Robert Downey Jr. was in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Oh, coke and alcohol binges were
like that nigga was going.
He was running amok, but he was a menace for sure.
Like most of his problems came from himself, though. He was most self-harm and. Wow.
Well, I don't know. Once you start getting DUIs and shit, that's putting other people at risk.
It is, but I'm saying people are more forgiving than you like take a whole family and some kids and run.
Well, he actually made a change, though. I don't know if Ezra Miller is going to make it. I think Ezra Miller comes out of this and is still a crazy ass non-binary individual.
I got a question.
Non-binary?
Oh, he's they.
Yeah.
I mean, they are they.
Yeah, they are we. We aren't they, but they are we.
They are we.
But we aren't they.
And us.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
I have nothing to say about them. I mean, Demi Lovato was also non-binary because she's the one that comes to recent memory and she went back on it, and I don't ask questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's back to being female again.
But since you want to bust out about Ezra Miller, like, let's go ahead and start. I'm not even finna start with Ezra Miller because he's not the recent one that started off with the apology video. It's Will Smith. Will started off with it. He started all this with that 3-month late apology video to Chris Rock, and now everybody just is like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw out these apology videos. If it works for him, it's gonna work for me, and not everybody wants to do it. And I got questions. Now Ezra Miller,
Deshaun Watson too. He did one.
But he didn't work for Will Smith. Will started apology was sincere.
We done had 4 in like 3 weeks, bro. Will started it, bro. He started. Now everybody want apology videos and stuff. Right? I have a question.
He didn't even follow the YouTuber apology rules. It was weird. He didn't have a dog in there or nothing.
Haven't Ezra Miller already been paid? Like, can they undo the contract and take the money back?
I was about to say, I think they probably
come out 2 years ago, so I'm pretty sure he got paid unless he got some royalties from like the sales of the film, which a lot of times actors don't. But if he did, I don't know. Like Robert Downey Jr. would, or in big name actor, but I don't think Erza Miller a big enough actor to have royalties, but he could. I don't know.
Their whole future hinges on this stupid ass movie.
He talks to screen actors, they have specific lawyers that fight for all that shit, so he probably does.
They future don't even on this movie no more. That future ain't on this movie no more. That mother getting whitewashed. It's just the last movie left.
They start showing it on TV. That's how them niggas get checks from it.
But his base salary he didn't got, basically. He got his base salary.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely been paid. The movie's been done for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, it's been done 2 years.
It's a failure. We all know it's a failure. It's 2 years, but we all know it's a failure. Like, let's just go ahead and get ready for it. Like, they're not gonna follow any of our ideas. 2 years. They're not gonna follow any of our ideas. They're not gonna do anything we say they're gonna do. Originally they leaked out, and I say leak, leaked out the whole Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Batgirl thing to see how people was gonna take it. And when they found out it was a horrible idea, they're like, crap, we need a way out of this. And next thing you know, Erza Miller on this whole crazy stuff, they're probably like, dang, we hate that Erza Miller, we hate that happened, man. That's crazy. Hey, scrap this movie, bro. That's crazy, man. Erza, you can't be doing this kind of stuff, man. Hey, throw all them tapes away. Hey, we can't be doing that, man. Like, we never announced who Supergirl was. We never announced who was Supergirl, who was Batgirl. Dang, man, that's crazy. Hey, scrap all that. Scrap them contracts and everything, bro. That's crazy, man. We can't. Erza, we apologize for Erza Miller and everything, bro. Hey, sell AT&T right quick, bro. Go ahead and sell it. Sell off DC right quick, bro. Sell it off right now. You can't be doing all this, bro. Hey, yo, Discovery, y'all want to buy it? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Please.
Hey, I said it was. It could all be publicity. I mean, it is all publicity, but it could all be a publicity stunt. Because this is the most we talked about any DC movie. And we ain't even talking about the movie. We're talking about the nigga playing in it.
like it's not a conspiracy, but I want you to look at everything that's happened since they're like in the last year. We ain't even on that to you.
The last year got a movie out.
No, I ain't worried about that. Look at what's happened to DC in the last year. Not only has Mara, which is the female lead in Aquaman 2, went through a horrible public image thing with her entire trial about domestic violence. So you had her, and then you had Erza Miller, who is the future of the DCEU, supposedly with the next few movies. He goes through all kinds of crap, and then the plot of your movie is basically a complete trash fire. And then y'all sell DC's movie properties to Discovery. All this happened in the last year.
Did they just sell the movies? I thought they sold the whole company.
They did. They sold everything. CW got sold for free.
I think they sold
CW
away.
We could have bought CW, Joe. Why didn't we buy it?
I thought it was just the movie rights.
No, I was thinking it was the whole company. Like I thought they bought
done.
DC.
They were like, we in 900
million. Who's watching Discovery Channel anymore anyway? I will admit that I watched a whole bunch of Lion movies today. Just randomly. I don't the YouTube rabbit hole. But
this man
who watches it after saying he is one that watches it? Make it make sense.
I never
Saturday, because I had with your boy Monray Hudson. Thank you so much.
Is Shark Week Discovery Channel or Animal Planet?
Discovery Channel.
Okay, that's what I thought. I've been watching Shark Week.
I don't need. There's so many different things. By the way, all the channels I used to like suck now. History Channel don't even talk about history no more. They just show me the Vikings episode every week. I'm like, bro, I done seen these.
Robot
Vikings and Pawn Stars.
Yeah, and G4 used to do games, and all of a sudden they just had cops on all day, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a fire era in my childhood though, because I remember that's when I first started experimenting with weed real hard and getting the stuff like that, and it's fun just getting stoned and watching cops is hilarious. So G4 had a lot more.
Don't blame your dibbling and dabbling in weed on Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
No, this is because they left. If they'd have stayed, maybe I wouldn't have got interested in those things. But they bounced out, and all that was there was cops. And I mean, think this was early 2000s cops, so they were playing the reruns from the 90s. And y'all niggas know how the 90s was.
That's when niggas was huffing paint and shit, man.
So if he's allowed to blame his cop watching on his dabbling in drugs, can I blame my dislike of people on how they used to treat them dogs and animals on Animal Planet on them shows then? Can I blame that then?
Yeah.
Well, how did they treat them, Monray?
Y'all say show how the dog's been abused and left in horrible conditions, and then they get readopted by somebody else later on.
I was gonna say my dog's spoiled, so I don't know. See, I ain't never have the heart to watch
the animal shelter show, Joe.
We're being treated bad. I can watch people be treated bad all day, but
the animal shelter show used to make me sad. I couldn't watch it. Like the cat be with one leg because they burn the cat and stuff like that. I'd be like,
they did the most ridiculous shit to these animals. Like they'd be like, here's the backstory. Like the cat told the story of how it only has 3 legs. They was just like, no, this what happened.
Yeah, see, I can't watch that stuff. I be feeling bad. I'm like, oh, that poor animal.
Yeah, I'd be too sad.
Then I gotta go and cuddle my other animals. Like,
I got a question though before we go on to Charleston White.
Do we have to go on to him? Can we just Ezra cover him? Like he said sorry.
White, yo. Custard and White.
We already said he said sorry. Do we have to go in depth about him?
Hey, but after we said sorry, we found out that he was a snitch.
But he been saying
they had the paperwork party, yo.
That's his claim.
That's the only reason he's relevant.
No,
he said I would tell you.
Was that he went to prison, and while he was in prison, he didn't never snitch on nobody. And now they found paperwork where he was snitching while he was in prison.
Are you talking about before? Then he started bragging about being a snitch the whole time.
Well, no, he was bragging about how now that he was a civilian. How he was gonna snitch and tell the police, but he was like, when I was a gangster, nigga, I wasn't no snitch. But now we look and you was a snitch the whole time.
He probably snitched out the whole game. But I got a question. Can Deshaun Watson blame it on his mental health? And do we get away with
it?
No.
We got, man, as much as I endorse therapy, we got to stop just letting anybody get off my mental health.
It seemed to be a get off free card for everybody. Can we just all just claim like some pain and just get off? Because it seemed like, especially for the others, that it worked very well for them.
1%, yo.
I mean, I see a lot of murder documentaries and stuff, and like they be trying to act like they got mental health problems, but they be like, "No, get that nigga first degree homicide."
Brett Favre stole millions of dollars from the poor in Mississippi, and then said, "I done got 1,000 concussions," and everybody, like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Like what?
At least you can say he actually like hit his head. But now,
there's footage. There's footage of that. There's footage.
What did it make?
Deshaun Watson got more than Erza Miller, so I guess you can say Deshaun Watson got too. Deshaun Watson.
Now, what we can say is that Deshaun Watson's excuse wouldn't be that, like, quote unquote excuse. Like, I don't want to put nothing.
Brett Favre did the same thing. Deshaun Watson did too.
26 women in that.
But what I would say is that, there's such thing as a sexual addiction. And yes, I am a ghost. I'm doing that on purpose. There is such thing as a sexual addiction. Like, there is such thing as this. So if you want to say, I have some kind of addiction or something of that nature and chose to get help, then, that's one thing. But just saying mental anguish necessarily, I don't know if that one's going to swing.
But there is a way out, though, what you're saying.
Man, there's a difference between being a sex addict and just being a pervert, though.
Hey, Brett Favre did the same thing, and the man coming out saying he got 1,000 he got 1,000 concussions. I'm like, hey, Brett, listen. Somehow y'all can't keep getting away with this. That's all I'm saying. He did the exact same thing, except for he actually touched the other person. He actually touched the other person, and then he did the same thing Deshaun did. And everybody seem to forgive him though.
Deshaun's is allegedly. It has never been proven technically. It's allegedly. He settled with all 24 of them cases.
Mike Tyson. People forget Mike Tyson went to prison for the big R word, and we don't give him stuff.
Has gracefully joined society.
Yeah, but if you look back on it, it sort of feels like Mike Tyson got railroaded. Like, it don't feel like, bruh. It don't feel like he did it. Like, even though he went to prison and was convicted of it, it don't feel like freaking you're not telling me at 24 years old, while he was the highest paid athlete in the world, he was out here trying to take some shit when he on now.
I think Mike Tyson a little more forgiving because he actually went to jail for it. Like you did.
Yeah, he actually did that time in prison too.
Like you did.
Then I actually have a question then for this. I have a legit question. If we're going that route, do you technically forgive people? Like, let's say Deshaun Watson got like 2 years jail time. Do you forgive people who do things like this, that get like accusations or they do crimes? Do you allow them back in the league, for example? Like, do you allow them to come back into society at the spot they were at before, or do you feel as though they shouldn't be allowed to have that kind of power and responsibility again?
I don't know, because I feel like Mike had to have a bounce back. Like, Mike Tyson didn't get out of prison and was immediately still famous again. Like, they didn't let him fight after that, and he didn't get real big until, like, he started showing up in movies and stuff after that. So I feel like there was a time period where, he was a lot lower in society than when he went in.
But do you feel like that's fair?
And
are we talking about is he actually kind of, so if he convicted?
If he really did that to that woman, right. I think it's crazy that we've forgiven him at all.
Allegations.
No, I'm saying like.
But I mean, he was convicted.
Because they have to
okay, convicted.
I'm saying convicted. Like take Ray Rice. Ray Rice had a domestic violence charge. We saw his own domestic violence. We saw the video, for example. Take Ray Rice, for example, and he had, I think, a suspension of like 2 games at first or whatever, but he technically never really got back in the league at the same spot. Nobody really trusted him, as far as like trying to sign him and everything. So I'm saying, like, if you are convicted of something, you do your time, supposedly. Let's say it's on like 2 years, you're still in good shape, all that and the other. Like, let's say Deshaun Watson, if for these allegations he went through, he got like a couple years, something like that. Do they deserve to be put back in like the standing because they technically paid their time to society? Or do you feel like Mike Tyson that they shouldn't have those kind of opportunities? Because Mike Tyson technically never got his opportunity to fight again, though he was able to fight. So, or even like, I think that's like another one, like Michael Vick. Because Michael Vick, like you said,
but Michael Vick is fighting dogs. That's kind of sick.
Even with that, he never got back to that same standing. He had like 1 to 2 runs with the Eagles on like
he got a bag.
No.
No. We ain't gonna do Mike Vick like that. That nigga
got out
and got a bag.
He got a bag. He got 100 million.
He got a bag.
We did sign. But I'm saying, so Michael Vick
a bag.
No, so Michael Vick is an
example. I don't know when
Mike
Tyson fought again after he got out of prison. I'm not sure that he did like fight for a belt again after that.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you got Mike Tyson as an example, and then you got Michael Vick who did get paid, and you got another one. So do you think that people should be able to come back into society the way they were before, like Michael Vick, or do you feel as though
the laws don't allow for that though? You got to think, how many laws are there that think you literally lose rights once you're a felon? You lose your right to the Second Amendment.
But when it comes to being famous, that's different. Like going like the league or something.
The felony in the law is what makes it so hard for you to be reintegrated into society. Look at how many of these organizations have rules specifically for felons. You could get 1 million misdemeanors and be cool, but that one felony fucks up everything.
Did Michael Vick get a felony?
Yeah. That's federal.
It didn't stop him?
Yeah, that was a fed crime. Like,
here's the deal with that.
And I don't know how the NFL works though, so they might not have this.
You're a contractor. When you work for an NFL team, you're a contractor. They can hire whoever they want to. There's no.
Oh, so it's like wrestling.
There's no clause.
There's
no clause for how many how like felonies and stuff. You can be a felon and work for them if you are good enough to be in the NFL. Now I was good enough to wash dishes at IHOP and MCL and all these other places. I was good enough to do that.
Yeah, any fast food restaurant.
I was a felon, so they was like, no, nigga. And then there was other opportunities. I was really good at well, there. Get the fuck out. Damn, for a Mike Vick your ass.
Oh shit.
That's the fucking point I was making. Jesus.
Was it Gotti or was it BG?
Yes. So, we probably would have edited it out to her, but I don't know if you can say Michael Vick or not. Oh, dear.
I'm sorry, I didn't feel safe. I had to go leave and reconvene with
I guess so.
I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe.
But no, I feel
we just gotta edit the part out because Joe's just basically just
getting back into society after that.
I'm like, well, we talk about Michael Vick and he does a Michael Vick. Fight him.
Well, at least it's. I don't even know what to say. I just went. I was trying to continue on with our conversation of how even after you serve, if you serve your time and you're still a felon afterwards, then I mean you served your time, but society's always gonna look at you funny.
Should you? The question is, should you?
But the whole independent contractor is how you get around felony like policies.
Yeah, that's what my question is: should that be a thing? Should you be looked at negatively in society if you paid your time to society?
I think
in those aspects.
I think it really does depend on the severeness of a crime. Like if somebody was actually harmed, like with Mike Tyson, bruh, whether I feel like he actually did it or not, he's been convicted, and in the eyes of the law, he did that to that woman. You know what I mean? So, I mean.
But in Deshaun Watson's case, because he hasn't been convicted, but there's so many cases,
exactly.
He's still getting punished. And that's the thing about he's still getting punished, even though he has not been convicted of any of them.
That's on. I think once you get to that point, isn't it on the organization whether they punish him or not? Because that's out of society's hands. Society's not like in the inner workings of how the NFL handles those policies afterwards. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey, so, who wants some bread? You guys?
It's not. I think it's easy to say it's not fair.
Here's a little treat for you.
I'm laughing at Joe. Joe seemed like he done came. He like, now that you landed here, you want some bread?
Good boy. Did you want butter with that toast? Good
come
boy.
Get this toast.
But,
come get this toast.
But the question, but to Monte's point, I think
the yellow pot. Somebody about to swat me.
Hey, don't say that.
But back to Monte's point, should you? It depends on if you believe in rehabilitation or not. Because some people fully don't believe in it, and some people believe in it. Now, will they? let's be honest. It depends on how good an actor or how good of a football player or athlete you are. The better you are at a job, the more likely people are to forgive you. Simple. Even in business world, anything. If you're an entertainer, you entertain people as a comedian, you can get away. Dave Chappelle could get away with more than an unknown comedian can get away with in stand-up comedy.
Well, yeah. Just look, Dave Chappelle went and shut down. He almost shut down his whole city when they were trying to build some shit that he didn't believe in. He came in there. He was like, "I will take out every dollar I've put into this place if you guys build this." Yeah. And they were like, "Okay, never mind. We're not going to build that."
Yeah, he could say he could get away with
That's
more.
A different like. If that's real actual power, like, you know what I mean? That's more.
Yeah, like you think Netflix is going to bat for somebody like a smaller name, like they did for Dave Chappelle? No, they just get rid of you. They go buy. But that's how society is. The bigger name and the more you can make money for somebody, the more likely they'll forgive you. And that's honestly, like Deshaun Watson got accused of it. He got the biggest contract in history because why? Because Deshaun Watson is a top 5 NFL quarterback. Now, if another quarterback not as good as Deshaun Watson had the same allegations,
top 5.
Before this stuff came out, he was considered top 5.
Top 5.
I mean, he had the most passing yards in the league.
Yeah, he had the most passing yards. He had like the second most
with the worst wide receiving core.
Yeah, they traded every receiver.
One of the worst records too.
Well, they traded everybody on defense and traded them for like an 8-round pick, and they ain't even like. So I'm like, ain't nothing you can do when he trade J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, your other receiver.
This is literally
the dude from Notre Dame got hurt.
This was LeBron with the Cavs with Ilgauskas. Like that's what they gave.
Was actually decent though.
Child, please.
Ilgauskas was.
Which Ilgauskas was you watching?
Ilgauskas was decent. He averaged you 18. Anybody ever 18 in the league?
That nigga wears size 18.
I'll give you credit.
It can't move.
Bro, when he had his whole squad, they went to the AFC Championship game the year before, and then they traded literally like 11 starters the next year because we don't feel like Bill O'Brien was trying to get fired. He admitted it. He like, yo, I was trying to get fired, so I traded everybody for nothing. So I can get back to the Patriots. He literally said it. He like, I want to go to the Patriots, so I traded the whole roster, tried to lose on purpose, and Deshaun Watson still threw for the most yards in the season, so I'll give him that.
And then the Astros started cheating in baseball, so then there was that. Banging trash cans.
Yeah, so I have no clue. But at the time, before all that happened, he was considered a top 5 quarterback. Now would he be? Probably not. He ain't played football in 2 years.
We'll have to re-examine the top 5 thing, but okay.
If we go back to the time, I'm talking about if you now
he's not 2 years ago.
From a stat standpoint, he had them.
That's what I'm saying. He took his team to the AFC Championship game against Patrick Mahomes that year, so you got to give him.
You said top 5. I got 3 off the top of my head that put him at 4 at best. So I'm like,
4 is still top 5.
And then I haven't went through the other 2017. I haven't went through the other 2017 yet.
Josh Allen wasn't there yet because Josh Allen came.
I don't need Josh Allen.
That's what I'm saying. So the people you will put ahead of him now wasn't there then.
Matter of fact, continue with your thing. I'm going to go back to 2019. I'm going to go back to 2019 and look at these quarterbacks.
Hold on. Are you back at the command center, Monray? Are you back in front of your DS, your laptop?
I told you wouldn't notice the difference.
Your Nintendo Switch, your PlayStation 5.
Well, you got to remember, Joe had a slight moment while you were switching.
I told you wouldn't notice the difference.
I had a stage malfunction.
Somehow we started about apologies and then we just went on. Sometimes we had a conversation about Deshaun Watson, which I love, by the way. Because I'm like, I didn't know if these topics gonna last, but they lasted 30 minutes, so I'm excited.
Yeah, because we didn't spend that much time on Whitehead or whatever his name is.
For the people that don't know, Charleston White is a dude who I can't stand. He is a coon. I'm gonna just say it. He's a dude that say he like to see black men, young black men who do crimes get shot, and it's like watching a movie. I can't rock with that, dog.
Y'all gotta admit, it was funny that he made Soulja Boy though. That was hilarious.
Everything Soulja Boy do is gonna be funny regardless. But other than that, you can't say that. Like, I want to watch it like it's a movie. I'm like, you a weirdo. I don't agree with what they do, but I'm not
entertaining in these interviews.
I'm not.
He is funny.
He talked mad crazy to people, and then
I tell on your motherfucking ass.
And then And then he apologized as soon as he
gets
checked.
He carries around railroad railroad spikes in his pocket to throw at people.
That's what they do, bro.
That's a new
Bruh. That is hilarious. Because I'm gonna shoot you long before you can throw a railroad spike at me. What is wrong with you?
That's what those type of dudes do to her.
Oh, did we already touch on Dragon Ball Fortnite skins?
So, I saw niggas hitting them with and shit. They've been getting some sick clips off, niggas.
Joe, when are you gonna do Have You Heard? The streets missing.
I don't know, man. Why is there so much porn on Twitter as soon as you turn it on, bro?
Joe, stop following those people.
It's Twitter. And that just tells you we know who you following. And it's okay. We're all following OnlyFans girls.
I'm only following the top 0.04% on OnlyFans, apparently.
See, if you only follow the top 0.01, you wouldn't deal with so much.
Grandpa, I would have to say no.
Who your top 5 months, and then we can go on to the next step.
We can discuss that after the show's over. Don't worry.
So y'all tell us. By the way, go in the comments. Tell us your top 5 in 2019. Basically,
in 2019 specifically.
Yeah. Tell us your top 5 quarterbacks. I know Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Tell me
who will be the top 5 OnlyFans girls.
I can give you I can give you the other two. The other two was Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson's MVP year. He wasn't top 5.
I'm that year. He might have played better than Russell that year. I'm sorry. I might give him that year.
Numbers.
If we going that year.
Numbers.
Going that year.
Numbers.
I'm just saying.
Numbers matter unless we're talking about music, and then people don't care about
numbers. You got to look at the Russell Wilson numbers.
I'm telling you, if the coach decided to trade DeAndre Hopkins, give me David Johnson, I'm gonna be mad.
Like that was Drew Brees. That was Drew Brees. Really last good year. Russell Wilson was there. I'm like, hey,
listen, the coach gave him David Johnson. But do you remember David Johnson? Nobody remember. David Johnson had one good year.
Whose problem is that? I'm just going by what we got to work with.
You trying to make me? A man can't make miracles, even though he did play very well, even through those miracles. We have on to the next topic. We have Teddy Ray, passed away, R.I.P. legend, very good comedian. For y'all that don't know, go check his stuff out. He's done a bunch of funny stuff. He's on all over MTV. He one of the reasons. Yeah, he's one of the reasons.
He's on All Death too. Yeah. Lots of roast me, all that stuff. He was hilarious.
He make a lot of that stuff actually watchable because some of y'all, I ain't gonna lie, some of y'all on this stuff ain't that funny. All Death do got a pretty good cast though, but
yeah, it's decent.
So we want to talk about, is black comedy the same? And
I think you could go broader than that.
Troy, we do not want to talk about her. I like Joe Girl. What's that unfunny woman name that I made you do a whole video about?
Amy Schumer.
Yeah, that one.
I haven't said that name on the podcast in a long time.
When Dave Chappelle, with Netflix standing behind Dave Chappelle, look at how, and then you've got Andrew Schultz. And they said that his special was they were like, that's too problematic. We can't even get with that. So he bought it back and then redistributed it, sold himself, and freaking straight killing. Because people want real comedy again. They don't want this PG bullshit. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just black comedy. It's comedy as a whole that's fucking getting the shaft right now.
That is true. But is it the same? I find even when it's edgy now, it's still not it doesn't come off as natural as it used to. It seems like when you be edgy now, it feels like you're trying to make a point to be edgy just to like stick it to the crowd. Instead of like just being naturally edgy, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna keep doing it because it make y'all mad. It's more like an attention grab, which everything is now. I feel like everything is just an attention grab, and the more I can cause anger, or the more I can cause the more popular I'll be.
But there are still good comedians, though.
Oh yeah, there is. I'm just talking about.
They're just not allowed to be. Because I can name multiple, from female white comedians to black male comedians and everything in between, that are amazing and funny as fuck. But you're not going to get a chance to really get their real opinion on any special with any weight because the networks aren't going to do it.
Dig this, Teddy Ray. Can we give him a shout out? Teddy Ray?
Yeah, most definitely. He was one of the ones that was most oppressed upon.
The simple answer is no. No, comedy is not the same. Comedy is not close to the same. Whether black comedy or whatever, it ain't close to what it used to be. And it's really it's a couple of reasons. One, the comedians of nowadays, they don't hit the same highs and familiarity and even exposure for the most part. They don't even have as much exposure as the comedians back in yesteryears or the old days. I say yesteryears or the old days, and really it's like 15 years together, or really like 15 years.
Yeah,
like
I mean, Cat Williams had an amazing run.
I mean, even then, like top things on television were comedy specials sometimes, like skits, like Dave Chappelle skits. Who shout out to Dave Chappelle, he put a bunch of comics on the map. Like nobody even knew Eddie Murphy had a brother before he put Charlie Murphy on screen. Yeah. So like, and Donnell Rollins, who is still good right now, like he had him on his show. Like please, like he did one.
He's still rocking a Dave Chappelle chain.
Like, and Dave Chappelle is like the best comedian still out right now. But the problem is one, like they don't have as much exposure because it wasn't just some of them. Like other comedians from the old days, like Samore, Lunel, some of them, Comic View made them like set them off, let you know, okay, like we seeing people on Comic View, you be able to get like different comics, different times, comedy specials like Ricky Smiley's comedy special, Steve Harvey's comedy special, comedy specials. Like you had comedy being put at the forefront because, like you said, the networks back then they weren't as afraid to let the comics just be themselves, just go in there and say stuff. Steve Harvey did a comedy special specifically about church people. Nowadays, it wouldn't even get the opportunity to do that because people would be so butthurt and cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. They probably wouldn't even let him get away with that. Back then, he did one specifically on church folks, which is unheard of.
They won't even do it, and that won't even be the liberals. That'd be the conservatives that'd be mad.
And like we had Comic View, Club Comic View. We had like Ricky Smiley's Precious joke is legendary, but nowadays people would be about to attack him if he tried to do the same thing, but like on a national stage, for example.
Lil Daryl and Precious are off limits in 2022.
Like, them times, Chris Rock's comedy special, Mike Epps' comedy specials, like comedians be at the
forefront to play delirious nowadays.
Because people just weren't afraid, and networks weren't afraid because people had thicker skin. Like, it wasn't a lot of cancel culture and stuff. It was like, okay, you a comedian, go do your thing, and if you get flack for whatever, that's on you. Like, just we're not gonna worry about it. And most of them didn't really get flack. It's okay.
They can do funniest gay jokes around. Period.
They can put their jokes out there. Nowadays, the comedians ain't the same. You don't have as much exposure for comedy. Like the last big exposure I saw for comedy, if your name was not Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart don't even do as many comedy specials as he used to because he got big off of his comedy specials too. He don't even do as many comedy specials as he used to. None of the older comics, all of them have really like migrated to podcasts, like Steve Harvey's morning show, Ricky Smiley's morning show. They've migrated to podcasts now. They don't do live comedy specials. Hey, Comedy Central almost don't even have live comedy specials for the most part themselves. Like the one who's running Comedy Central for like live stuff is like Trevor Noah. Which shout out to Trevor Noah, he's doing good. But like he's like one of the only comedian type people that's like out there on Comedy Central, like on a national circuit. Him and Dave Chappelle, for the most part, the rest of them on like different circuits altogether. They're not even on like television. So now comedy is just what you can get on streaming, on YouTube. So Dave Chappelle was the first one to really bring big comedy specials back in like 10 years. So comedy doesn't get the exposure it used to, and it's way more conservative because of cancel culture, networks being afraid, all that kind of stuff. Man, back in the day, and God rest his soul, Bernie Mac would probably be getting like attacked by all kinds of.
Oh, he'd have been canceled a long time ago
and stuff for all the jokes and stuff he used to say. And God bless Richard Pryor, he wanted to come out and do some stuff now. Or even Eddie Murphy with Raw.
Richard Pryor
had Delirious, Raw, any of them, any like, Eddie Murphy, and he was wearing a tight leather suit, it would offend the whole nation today.
So I like I said, God bless. I'd be like, people have way thinner skin and they be more sensitive about certain topics to be able to let comedians do their thing. So now a lot of them they either go these sketches, they do podcasts, they do different YouTube shows and segments. Like I said, shout out to All Def. They put a lot of different comics and stuff, or Wildin' Out from Nick Cannon put a lot of people on the map, people that were funny, people that had like talent and stuff. Because now, I think it's the show with Carlos Miller, Chico Bean, and
85 South.
Yeah, 85 South show.
And DC don't fly.
But there's all kinds of comedians out there that are
and
amazing.
that's about, like, you gotta get the exposure how you can nowadays. Now it ain't just like, okay, I can go on Comic View, blow up. It ain't no like it ain't no Showtime at the Apollo where I can come out and get some exposure. Like, oh no, I ain't none of that. Now it's just if you take off and go viral on a podcast or something, or like you can get on somebody's little show segment or whatever and try to get big that way. Now for comedy, it's a lot more cutthroat because you got a lot less exposure now. Like, it's hard to get out there. I see. So.
I saw Charlamagne. DJ Academic said Charlamagne told him something. He said they tried to cancel me for what they made me famous for. And I'm like that hit. But at the same, but the thing is, I got a question too for everybody. Is it because of the exposure? Because in the 90s, you had a special, and it wasn't really like an interaction with the special. Like the people that was offended just had to be offended. It was nowhere you was gonna go on AOL chat line and get upset at the Kings of Comedy. Like who going on there with you, dog? Nobody's going on AOL chat line. MySpace didn't have a space for you to do that. We all worried about our top fives. Like what were you gonna do with it? Even Facebook, Twitter, like the first time you actually had a chance to like, because Facebook is like your family, and most people family think the way they think. So even if they did get in groups, nobody would care. Twitter's like the first place
YouTube.
Twitter is
you
like
can't leave YouTube out.
But YouTube comments, you can just not care about them. Twitter is like the first place where people can actually congregate with people with the same ideas from a way different place, and then be like, "Hey, we're gonna get together and cancel you." So people might have always been mad, but they didn't have no way to show it. Like nobody cared if you was upset in the 90s, because who was gonna hear you? Because right now, if you look at it. Even back then, there were people that used to protest certain Kings of Comedy tours, and nobody cared, and everybody just walked past them in line. I remember that when I was little. Like they'd be out there, they saying mean things, and everybody like, we don't care. That we coming for. They would just walk past them and didn't care. But now you got like Twitter, and now they can congregate and get together in like groups and form a bigger group because now they all know they coming together. And even though the group still ain't as big, but at the same time. It ain't. And by the way, I saw Seinfeld and other people say they can't say they don't like doing show because younger people don't like it. You grew up in a culture that's about getting clout and then everybody getting their feelings because we can be honest too. And then I'm gonna let Joe and whoever talk. We can be honest.
Let me get our last idea in before I give it to Joe. I forgot to mention.
Okay, I'm gonna let Monte in. And nowadays you take your bullies home, right? So people now get a little upset because I didn't realize this because I'm older, but then you see the little kid just bully somebody online, and you're like, wow. So they bully them at school, and then they go home and see it on Facebook and Twitter. I didn't have Facebook and Twitter, so I couldn't get bullied on Facebook and Twitter. Nobody could bully me. I didn't get bullied in real life, so it didn't matter. I know some people tried to throw the dude in the garbage can because I'm way stronger than
Continue, tough guy. Shit.
Hey, listen, dog.
Damn, truck driver.
You got
truck driver Butters.
You don't get bullied, dog. GGC Mafia, baby. You
don't get bullied. Butters.
They got it in the bad way, dog. You know what I'm saying? They got it in the bad way. But yeah,
just tell the damn story how you feel about comedy.
Y'all listen. Joe is upset because they interrupted his story all Saturday. So he's still on.
I forgot about that actually.
They're like, why you telling so long this story? Now he rushing me. Look at this. I will not be gaslit, Joseph.
I can't wait till this Saturday.
He might Uber you something.
I will not go for that again. I promise you that.
But yeah,
with me.
Ultimately, what happens is people a little more sensitive because they exposed to more. Being exposed to more make people more aware of certain things and things of how other people feel, and then you get in a group of people that agree with you, so it festers more. And then all y'all talk about y'all feelings all day, and everybody say, "Monroe."
Oh no, I'm messing with my alien. You good?
But yeah, your feelings more because you and your group gets together now. Y'all talking about how bad somebody been to you and all that stuff, and I get it because it's terrible. Like I said, you take your bullies home now. You take your bullies home, and then you hear the other stories, and how can we fight back? We fight back by getting rid of the bullies and exposing people. And I feel it. And some of people deserve it and all this stuff, but it's hard. It's harder for comics though. I always say you gotta adapt, or you gotta evolve or adapt. You gotta evolve, adapt, or that's it. Cat Williams said that the other day, and he tried to adapt, but I don't know if that comedy special was it. The last. Monterey. And then we go to Joe.
Oh no, the only thing I forgot is not only just like the comic specials and the shows or whatever. Regular television was wrapped around comedy. But we forgot that's how we got to know the Wayans brothers, or like Will Smith, even with the Fresh Prince. Like a lot of even the shows back then were wrapped around comedy. Martin, like freaking Martin Lawrence, like the shows were wrapped around comedy and stuff. So like comics had a lot of exposure because if you were funny, there was a place for you in a lot of different areas. And so now we went from comedy to clout. Have at it, Uniqo.
When it comes to comedy, for me, I think the whole thing has changed in regards to the lanes that have been created. Like right now, what's funny to me is people trolling people that are streaming online, like them, like with your flights of the world. That stuff is funny to me. Streamers and Twitch and all that stuff. That stuff is funny to me. What else do I watch? Oh, I watch prank stuff. That stuff is funny to me. YouTube, so basically, a lot of YouTube is just making me laugh every day. I watch the Bradshaws on Netflix. So that's Mike Epps comedy. It's cool. Is it a rewatch? No, I watched it one time and I'm cool. So the thing is, there's just a lot more avenues and venues, and like the world is so much more open now, because you would have to wait until Thursday night on Fox to watch Martin at 8:00. You know what I'm saying? We'd have to wait a whole week to watch Martin. We'd have to wait until Monday nights to watch Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to have cable, or no, actually that was basic cable, matter of fact. But you'd have to have TV, you'd have to have, antenna, whatever, so you could watch these shows. And then Comic View on BET, that was on BET, so you had to have cable for that. So nowadays it's just I hop on my phone, I can watch every episode of Comic View that ever came out if I want to. So it's just a lot more venues, and it's like we're more exposed to more cultures and stuff now, to where that's why black comedy is not going to be the same, because it's not going to always be that. Like you brought up the church thing and making a whole comedy about church. Who's really going to church all the time like that to really understand that what it was like to go to church in the 90s and early 2000s? People don't go to church like that no more.
You heathen.
And the culture
from revival, Joe. GGC.
Oh no, you gotta go, because there's a reason why it's called Southern Baptist. Your ass is in the South. You going to church.
Heathen.
But up here, niggas don't go to church like we used to. Packed house. My church is actually the biggest church on the block in my city, and we don't pack that bitch out. We pack that picnic out with that free food, that free Howards. But they don't pack that sanctuary out like they used to, man. It used to be shoulder to shoulder in church, but those jokes don't work no more, because they only gonna work in your circle or people that's older than you. And they gonna be like, remember back in the 80s when we had revival, or remember we had Sloppy Joe's for summer vacation Bible school every Wednesday, blah blah blah. There's a lot of but see, people this day and age, they don't relate to that, because them niggas don't go to church. So you gotta always make jokes about what they relate to, like where we dropping, boys, or I don't know what are girls into. Probably some kind of makeup tutorial thing on YouTube. I don't know. So all I'm saying is, it's just like we change as like, because at some point, they saying nigga all day. It's like, oh my God, it's so groundbreaking that he's saying nigga. Now it's like, times have changed. You can't say nigga in your comedies like that, especially for a nationally syndicated, movie that's on Netflix or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you write about the whole thin skin thing, like, bruh, let the joke be the joke, man. Let the joke be the fucking joke, man.
No,
that's why we joke. It's a joke because it's not necessarily true, but there is some truth in that joke. But I'm a big fan of still keeping it real, and let me see. You can still say things like, I heard that the performance was so bad, the whole handicap section got up. I still want to hear shit like that. Matter of fact,
that's why I love Andrew Schultz, because he's still out here making fun of every race.
Everybody gotta catch it, man. The dude was so funny that the wheelchair section gave him a standing ovation. I still want to hear those jokes. It's cool.
Facts.
Please don't use that joke though.
So everybody,
I still want to hear offensive jokes too, though.
I get what you said, but say that joke.
We have to let it be known that Joe has revealed himself.
Y'all made Joanna man.
He has revealed himself to be a heathen, because he's just like nobody goes to
that movie was terrible. It was fun when I was little.
I still made it.
It's okay.
We appreciate everybody that have to add 2 new names to Uniqo Williams. We add in Michael Vick, and we add in the new heathen, the heathen 2022. We adding 2 new names for Uniqo Williams. My man finna have his roster of names, bro. He gonna be out here.
I'm just trying to take it back to make comedy great again.
Yeah, do that.
Yo, so
3 names.
So technically, Monte now has got like a name roster for Joe, and Tori's writing a fanfic about Joe.
I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So
I don't know. These later chapters have gotten kind of wild.
By the way, I do agree with Joe. Joe brought up a point I didn't think about, but I 100% agree. You have a lot more access to different things now. So your style of
lot more
comedy,
different entertainment options.
Yeah, so it might not be.
15 years ago, podcasts weren't even a thing. So
you could be a comedy guru because, like, you could be a Yu-Gi-Oh comedian. You just a nigga that play Yu-Gi-Oh and you got a whole bunch of jokes about it. Oh, what about when that fusion did this one thing and that's funny to somebody? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you should get yourself boxed into situational comedy like that. The best comedians, that's why comedy is based off life, because you don't get packed into that single echelon, like where you just make jokes about one thing. That's the beauty of being that's why you got comedians like Amy Letterman and freaking Andrew Schultz, Akash Singh, all these comedians. And even once you get to, like, they're the people on All Deaf, like I said, even R.I.P. to Teddy, but like Patrick Cloud, Doughboy, like these are comedians that, like, if they have a platform where they could get off a special, it could be dope. Like I said, the world's got to be so
still getting paid.
Sensitive.
I should get paid more than Monique. I agree with Monique. Something wrong.
Monique's crowning achievement was being an abusive black mom.
Yeah,
you're not putting on.
And I think they did. I think they
on the queen of comedy. You are not putting on the queen of comedy. That is not her biggest moment. She killed that tour when she did the
not the queen of comedy, is she?
She was on the Queens of Comedy tour.
Oh, she headlined. She headlined the motherfucker. That's what she.
Yeah, she was on the Queen of Comedy tour. By the way, that tour was hilarious. Go back and watch that tour.
I'm not gonna.
I don't know.
I did not think that.
It might not be in my will.
Which one? I'm talking about the second.
There was 2.
Yeah.
They tried it again.
Joe, you gotta go. Joe being sexist, y'all.
I watched this in the barbershop amongst the funniest niggas in the world. And sorry, okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna let Monique roast you. I'm inviting Monique to come. Monique, come on the show.
All she gonna do is call me motherfucker, and then go.
Monique, come on this show and roast Joe.
She going.
We're gonna have a Queens of Comedy roast of Joe.
Yo, I got one question before we finish it off then about the comics.
What's that, Monte?
So, and I think I remember asking this probably like 10 years ago or so, but nowadays it's a bit different. If we was to have a new age Kings of Comedy tour, who would be the 4 comics?
Based on real or based on
I was about to say, are we talking about numbers again? Because
you can put whoever for you think, but they got to be good comics. Because naturally, the original Kings of Comedy were 4 of the top tier comics of the time: D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, and Bernie Mac. So you got to have 4 good comics. They can't just be like run of the mill people. But who would be the 4 comics that you would think would be the Kings of Comedy, or just on the tour? There were other comics that could have easily been on that tour, but who would be your 4 Kings of Comedy for 2020?
He's making a comeback.
You know good and well they ain't.
For your 2022, who would be your 4 Kings of Comedy? That could be a good way to end it.
I'm gonna go. I want Ricky Smiley to host it. I want him to host it.
Respect. Gotta have one of the OGs.
Because it's gonna have to be
one of the OGs hosted.
The youngsters that actually headline this, and actually
not necessarily.
Kevin Hart will actually be a part of this. I would say if you want a rock star tour, Like for real, for real.
It don't have to be one of the young ones. It just got to be the current kings of comedy. Dave Chappelle could easily be on there with nobody.
You're right. Yeah. Right now, I'm thinking Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle.
Bill Burr, if you're talking about name, pal.
Andrew, I've said Andrew Schultz like 8 times, and I'll continue because
I think DC Fly gets a run
on the Kings.
I think DC Fly gets a run. DC Fly.
I don't know, man.
If you, I would
stand up isn't really that funny to me. Though.
Carlos Miller, I would want on there, but I don't know if he would qualify in terms of size. But Carlos Miller should 100. Mississippi Boy should 100%.
I would say Carlos Miller, DC Young Fly carry a whole 20-minute segment on Big National Circuit.
I don't know.
That's the question. Joe, if he had a group and he could play off a group, 100%. But by himself,
Carlos Miller.
Okay, I would say make them a segment like. Of this Kings of Comedy.
South? I would love an 85 South.
That's not a bad idea to run 85 South show for a segment. That would be a bad idea.
I would love that actually.
And them niggas is a group at this point.
That's still only 3.
Damn, because Dave Chappelle is gonna go in there and make shit.
Well, no,
I mean that's still only 3. If you do 85 South show, Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart, it's still only 3. Still only 3.
Who else can I think of that's super?
That's a good question. Like, who would be your current Kings of Comedy?
I'm thinking about the roast me crew, and like they got a lot.
None of them are that.
I don't think they're stand up types though. They're more of the roasting.
I mean, the roast me crew from all Devil.
Yeah, from all Devil.
Can any of them?
Can we do a segment of roast me? Can we do a segment of roast me? And y'all just make Doughboy stand.
Y'all want segments now. That's why comedy ain't the same. It's not stand up no more. You have to have sections and groups together.
I'm thinking stand up comedians. I'm not thinking like.
That's why I said like. By the way, I can't do 85 South show. I can cut that. But I'm trying to think of who. Give me 4. Give me your 4 then Afro comedy. It don't make no difference.
Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Andrew Schultz, and Akash Singh.
There you go. You got it. That's yours.
I can understand that because he is big in name right now.
Bring back out who was one of the funniest comedy specials of 2022.
Schultz, though.
Schultz is amazing because he doesn't care if you're Asian, if you're black, if you're white. He's going to make fun of you.
I don't know if the name power is going to be enough, though.
Bro, he literally, there's not another comedian besides Louis C.K. He literally bought his special back from Netflix because they wanted to change it and then sold it himself and made more money than what he was going to get from Netflix. Outside of Dave Chappelle,
I don't even know about Dave Chappelle. I don't even know about Dave Chappelle being on this tour. He doesn't fit.
How?
Dave Chappelle is the name that brings the people to the show.
He's the comedian in the world right now.
Black people, straight up,
he's the top comedian in the world right now.
Dave Chappelle the one that's selling the show, so you got.
He's gonna be the most controversial.
Him and
I don't think it's black people. I don't think his main art. I think that Dave Chappelle shit look like Tyler the Creator concerts.
Joe, that's everybody's group. So
no. You know, it's more white women.
Andrew Schultz had Bruce Buffer
and black people. You know that. You know that about.
I'm gonna tell y'all somebody that's very underrated.
I've been to the concert.
Michael Shea is very underrated in stand up.
He just never hits with me. He is funny in certain aspects, but some of his stuff just. We're talking. It's the CHE is how you spell his last name, right?
Yeah.
He's very underrated.
I was just making sure.
His name ain't big enough. Him and Jay Farrell name ain't big enough.
I love stand-up comedy. Like there are some amazing comedians that just aren't getting shine.
The worst part about stand-up comedy is we just don't see it.
Exactly.
Like we used
to. And that's why Andrew Schultz is such a big name because
get off his dick. Stop, bro. Shit. God damn.
Listen, I've listened to you I've listened to you gargle Kanye's whole cock before, Joe.
This is like your 5th time. Talk about Andrew Schultz.
Nigga, we got 5 episodes of you sucking off Kanye. What are you talking about?
God,
at least. We got fucking at least 5 episodes of you fucking wrapping Kanye's thighs around your neck and trying to fight for air, like, bruh. And we're talking about comedy. We will talk about this one time. So if this is the one time I'm going to get off giving people some actual stand-up comedy to watch, let that be.
I'm looking
I have to add a new name to Joe now. The new name is Dave Chappelle Ain't the King. I got to add that new name to Uniqo Williams now. Like, God.
See what people pick from that?
I'm trying to look at the top generations of comedians. I don't know none of
Good,
them. I'm actually getting a look.
Man, good exchange.
Like I said, that's not an easy answer.
That was a good spot, Tori. That was a good spot.
All right.
No, they keep telling me they telling me about Marie Falston. I have never heard of Jeff Wright.
But I figured that's a good
Jeff Wright is funny.
Because after Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart, the other two names not easy. They're not even though some people may not agree with Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart, at least you know they can carry a 30-minute.
They gonna bring the people. They gonna bring the people to the show.
Like they can carry a random 30-minute segment on their own. So at least you know they will. But the thing about it is you got to find two other names that you can guarantee. And then if you got to find more than two, even if you don't agree with Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart, you got to find two more.
Is it Chris Rock because of the controversy right now, or before the controversy?
Chris Rock can do one, but that's up to you.
But I don't know if you want to put an old Kings of Comedy back on the new Kings of Comedy tour, do you?
Well, I mean, Kevin Hart isn't old.
I'm talking about, but ain't Chris Rock was part of that group.
He was.
No,
I mean,
I thought the Kings of Comedy was Cedric the Entertainer.
He was saying he was a part of that, like
Harvey and
that era. He was a part of the era.
He was hot in that era because you would put Martin Lawrence in that era too.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence in his 50s, I think.
I still think, bro, you let Eddie Murphy can do Delirious or Raw any day of the week, and it'll still be the funniest shit in the world to me.
Does he even tell jokes or write jokes anymore? Like, I feel like even Eddie Murphy probably ain't wrote a joke in.
Eddie Murphy probably ain't thought about a type 5 in a long time.
I don't know what Eddie does right now, but that's what I'm saying. Like, find me 4 names that will be, and everybody watching on YouTube, you can leave your like naturally, but you can comment who would be your 4 Kings of Comedy.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because that answer ain't easy. Like even if you want to take the top popular one, because you can be like, okay, Trevor Noah is one of the top comedians, but Trevor Noah is known for sketch comedy and stuff. Carrying a 30-hour-long segment is an entirely different thing.
To be honest, I like Joe's idea because
I mean, the 85 South show, that's fine, but that's still only 3.
I'm talking about idea-wise. Like, do you just have these, like, sets? Like, you have the roast me, and then you have that set.
Well, yeah, you do it the way comedies have been done
not
for
Kings
you.
of Comedy.
It's like, isn't that the way it's evolving into? More of it, like,
groups?
That's not Kings of Comedy. I said Kings of Comedy.
But I'm just saying that's why it's hard to do that.
For individual people. 4 individual people.
You can give Tori's Flagrant 2 group. You can get the Roast Me group. You can get the 85 South group and just go with groups. I would like that though.
Well, that would be a long ass time for people to be at a comedy show though.
Well, I mean, if you're doing 20-minute segments.
Yeah, but
once you go over 20, you already know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Kings of Comedy bare minimum was like 30 to an hour.
You know what I mean? That's gonna add up.
Yeah.
It's like the problem Tony Khan's having with wrestling. You know how hard it is to try and film 2 shows in one setting? Like you try and film a 2-hour show and then, hey, we need you guys to sit so we can film these other 3 hours worth of shows too. Like, don't nobody want to sit for 6 hours and do anything really. People bitch about that at work. You know what I mean?
We barely gave Snyderverse the time that it was giving us. We still complained about it. Originally, they were like, damn, that's a long ass time for a movie. I mean, it was worth it after watching it, but when you first saw that runtime, you were like, shit. It's like, nigga,
that's a long time to be sitting there.
Like, did they just do a break in the middle of this and told everybody to go to concessions in the middle of this damn movie?
Well, if you were to do the show like you're saying with these different groups, you'd almost have to.
When we saw it in television, it was like, cool, naturally, we got commercial breaks, but they probably had like
a Coachella, like a
in between. If they had
but then you're missing out. You're not actually getting to see everybody. You have to make a choice on who you're seeing when.
But you can have like day 1, night 1, day 2, night 2.
Oh,
you can do headlines.
You actually can have them all in one night.
That's a different game altogether.
Yeah.
2 hours.
You have to have a break though. You have to have a break in between.
But that
2-hour show works.
Actually does something like that where he goes outside and he takes a bunch of comedians on tour with him around the world.
Yeah. Most likely, I don't know exactly how they did it, but most likely, probably the best idea is have to do 2 comics a night. Have 2 comics come out, record that segment, and then the next night have the other 2 comics go.
So are each one going to do a full hour set though?
Bro, the comedy did that with these.
Well, no. I'm saying in today's comedy, you've got openers that are coming out for comedians and doing type 5s and quick 10s like it's nothing.
Oh yeah, like King of Comedy said, you gotta do a full 30 to an hour bare minimum. That's what they all did. Like, well, and that's the thing about it. Like the comedians nowadays.
It was an hour and 55 minutes for Kings of Comedy.
So they each did 30 minutes because they were four.
Nowadays, comics might not be able to hang with the old ones. Them old comics, like when they did comedy specials, like I hate saying like
you had to put they never put more than 1 or 2 specials out a year, and for that whole year they're using that 1 hour set of comedy. That's why comedians take stealing jokes so serious, because of how long they go off of their intellectual property, how long that one set has to feed them before they have to think of something new. Because you got to think, while they're performing one set, most comics are already writing their next set because of how long it actually takes.
But the thing about it, I'm saying that comics of the old days were able to make a set for an hour and a half to 2 hours straight. Like they could do an entire one.
But they knew they would get an HBO spot or a Showtime spot or a
even still, like they could. Like nowadays, a lot of comics can't do it that long. They can't do it for an hour and a half, 2 hour set.
Like they can't. Probably. Honestly, Dave, the only one I know, can probably do that.
Everybody I named has got an hour.
But that for about 30 minutes of Dave will be some introspective stuff that Joe's gonna get upset about.
Like, yeah, he wouldn't enjoy that. He'd be like, "It's supposed to be a comedy. I don't care about the way that you felt after turning down all this money and having to rewrite your whole life in a different country."
Like, imagine
a fucking joke about a guy in a wheelchair. God damn it!
Not that. Imagine, like, give these comics the Steve Harvey challenge. Make an hour and a half set strictly for church folk.
Yeah,
see how many get through that. They're gonna be easy. And he was doing it for straight Baptist black church folks. They wasn't going.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like it'd be almost easier that way because you've only got one thing to focus. I feel like it might be harder doing an hour set about everyday life in general.
If I could spend 20 minutes doing 4 different things, that'd be a lot easier than doing one thing for an hour.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know.
Because after a while, the church jokes can run dry unless you killing it.
Comedian too. Because some comedians don't do the whole theme. Like, there are some comedians that'll take a theme and be like, my whole set is around this. You know what I mean? Like, there are some female comedians, here in this next year, there's about to be a bunch of people that just have full-on abortion sets. You know what I mean?
Please don't do that. I don't think that'd be the most entertaining thing. Please. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I
want to hear about your...
It's the way comedy works.
Sad about. But GGC Mafia, I want y'all to go in the comments and tell me some underrated stand-up comedians that we have not seen. Now we talking about the black ones, but you can put white ones too. People we have not talked about. Like I named some the principal on Abbott Elementary. I know she's a stand-up comedian, and they said her special was good.
She actually is
she's
pretty
sexy
funny
and funny.
Yeah, so they said her stand-up. I gotta watch that too. By the way, I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. We're actually over an hour, so I don't want to really talk about the other subjects.
Black woman that's she's in all these movies, but she was a stand-up comedian first. I can't never remember her name.
Tiffany Haddish.
Yep, that's her. That's her.
Yeah. Let me just be loud and ratchet.
Oh, is that her? I haven't watched any of her stand-up.
Oh, here you go. Kung Fu pandering.
Hey, listen.
I mean, he is strictly Bigly Dickly, so I mean, he ain't got it. I don't know too many black women that are packing that thing.
But I am gonna play Xenoverse 2 today.
Yo, shout out to SBD up there. GDC Mafia, like I'm putting y'all on the task this week. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll be back on Make It Make Sense. Actually, we'll probably be back on tonight for She-Hulk, if y'all on for that. Because this will be coming out on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That does come out tomorrow.
Yeah, so be there for that. We'll be there on Thursday talking about She-Hulk. But we'll be there on Make It Make Sense actually live, hosted by the one and only Monterey. We had 2 more topics, but we are an hour and 10 minutes in, so we ain't about to do it. It was about Aaron Rodgers and Meek Mill saying drugs are good, and Rick Ross and A$AP Rocky in trouble with the law. Y'all don't care about that because we had a great conversation today. So like and subscribe. Speaking of Monterey hosting Make It Make Sense, Monterey, where can they find you?
You already know you can catch your boy on Saturdays, 7:30. Make it make sense naturally on the Blurred Cartel on Facebook. Otherwise, I'm naturally here on Overall 99 Media. And of course, everywhere that you can find Monterey Hudson, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I am there. I am giving out the good stuff. I am dropping that hot fire. Otherwise, you know, it's always a pleasure, always grateful, always humble. Then I got to pass it on to that boy, Black Panther is me, aka Dave Chappelle ain't the king, but the GOAT is Kanye himself. Uniqo Williams, let him know.
UniqoWilliams.com. You know, all roads lead to Mr. SBD. What up, Tori?
Oh my Lord! You already know Afro Comedy 765 on everything. You can catch me here with these fools doing whatever this is. But other than that, I'm probably somewhere making some kind of hot take or maybe influencing some sort of conspiracy theory. Check it out.
I hope y'all caught that spot where me and Tori did a double clothesline. A moonsault that turned into like a reversal flip. I don't know.
It was an intricate spot.
It involved the ladder.
Shout out Mustafa Ali and Ciampa. GGC Mafia, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all know to find me in my link tree below. Find anywhere you probably see Zelmay and here all the time. We probably gonna do some more What's New 99 News and a bunch of other stuff. We got a lot of content coming out. You're gonna see Do You Hear Me? You're gonna see Make It Make Sense. You're gonna find out whatever Tori doing. We might do a wrestling show soon. And we're here.
Elden Ring speed run.
That'll be on the game.
Otherwise, y'all be ready. We only got about 3 weeks left before the football season comes back and sports is gonna get wild. Y'all get ready. Back. It's over with. It's over with. Just let you know now.
Peace.
Bye, guys. I'll see you later.
Drugs are good.